Okay, let's see here. Alright, I think I got everything up and running. Okay. Well, for anyone tuning in after this video has been made, this is just the part where I set things up, so I will be taking a couple of minutes here to get everything properly ready. I guess in the meantime, just enjoy this nice music that's playing, and I'll be with you guys shortly. If this is after the video goes up, there should be something in the description or timeline bar that shows where to skip to get to where I'm actually working on things. And if you don't want to do that, just skip forward manually yourself, or I guess if you want, just sit here for whatever reason and wait. There we go. Okay, just a couple more seconds. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-boom. Okay. I think we are ready. Alright, well, let us get started on today's comic page, shall we? Today, we have page 81. Let's see here. This is going, that's going. And let me skip back over to this. There we go. That's there. Okay, let us get started. Zoom in to 100 magnification. And decrease the opacity. Put in the white background, and then we have actual background to be able to see what we're doing. Yeah, this page, for those that haven't been following along, Doko, the main protagonist of the comic, has sort of gotten his arm somewhat sliced open a bit during the tournament match here. The final tournament match of the comic. This would probably be major spoilers to new readers, but this is assuming that you are up to date on the comic. If you are not, that is not something I can really help, I don't think. But here, he is just sort of slumping over in sheer pain from the injury he has sustained. And likewise, the audience is completely taken aback. Yeah, well, it's actually taken me a bit of time to get to this comic page. Partly because I needed to get other pages, like, sketched out first, and partly because I have a sale going on my commissions right now, which, is until my birthday, which is October 25th, all the prices on all the stuff that I create for people are chopped down. So, it is, if anyone would like anything made for them, now is the time to take a look at the prices. And there's a link for that in the description if anyone is interested. Actually, I could just show that on screen here. Let's see here. Where is it? Here it is! Yeah, these are all the commission prices right now. You can see, like, the slashed out price is the normal price, and then the prices that are not slashed out are the deals going on right now. But yeah, that's part of what's been getting in the way of me getting to making more of the comic pages here. Is I've just been getting, like, commissions and stuff, so that's pushed things back a tiny bit for the comic, but yeah, I get to everything eventually. The other thing, though, is I ran out of comic pages to work on, because the last comic page I put up was the final one that I had sketched out from, like, months ago. What I'll usually do when I'm making the comic is I will sketch out a batch of the pages, and then as I go through it, I'll just detail the pages more as I get to them. And eventually, obviously, one would run out of the pages to work on that way, because eventually you catch up with what you have sketched out, and you need to take time to sketch out the next batch of pages. Usually, I have the next batch sketched out before I'm done working on the previous batch. This time, however, with everything going on, I was not able to do that, so I've been in the process of getting the pages sketched out so that I can work on more of them. But this is the first of the next batch, and the batch that will be the end of this comic. And then I'll finally be able to get on to working on the remakes of the original comics. And then it gets published. Not sure when that'll happen, but you're always making progress, moving towards the future. Eventually you will get to the point where you reach your goal if you keep going. For now, though, we are on page 81 of the current comic. This is not at all supposed to be the ending of the series, but I am going back to do the remakes of the original comics after this, since this is like the end of the tournament. It feels like it'd be an appropriate time to go back, if I'm going to go back to do that, since doing it like in the middle of an ongoing sort of story beat, it kinda interrupts everything. Technically it would be interrupting a bit of the adventure to take a break to do that. And I knew that was gonna happen. Let's lower... No. 170. There we go. There we go. Now let's just zoom in to take a look. Yeah. I think that's good. I can see a tiny bit. Oh no. No, that's all... Okay, it looks like everything's all sealed up there. Yeah, thank Tractors and Tedders for speeding up the fill-in process on these. That has come... Actually having it all fill in when I use just the fill bucket has made things go so much quicker than it used to. Ah. I currently have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as well as some chips, and a cup of apple cider. I like apple juice, but apple cider is the one I love. There is hardly anything that beats, like, freshly made, homemade apple cider, where you boil the apples for hours and strain it and stuff. That is incredible. Some allspice, some cinnamon. Delicious. Yeah, my brother was the first one that I ever tasted fresh apple cider from. When he would make it, I'd usually play a video game. I remember when he made, like, his soups, I would play Metal Gear Solid 4. Forget if I had a specific game I played when he did apple cider, though. When Mom would make black bean soup, me and my brother used to play Kirby Air Ride. That was our tradition for whenever she did that. We'd usually go to city mode and pretend our different colored Kirbys were different characters that we'd play around in a little made-up story with. I think the red Kirby was like a policeman for the city, and then like the purple Kirby was Shadow Kirby, which we had no idea there was a Shadow Kirby. That was just what we named the more evil character, was all. Yeah, the most extensive story that me and my brother really did between, like, multiplayer stuff in video games was back on the 64, where we would pretend there's this, like, virus-type thing going around the video games we'd play, and it was called Star, and it was just always messing with things in the multiplayer. We pretended the characters would be fighting it in each game we played and stuff. And that is where the entity Star in my old stuff during the Freaks, the 2000s time period of the world my comics take place in. That is where the entity Star from that comes from. I don't know if I've ever put anything up of the Star, but it is something that is relevant to, like, the backstory of the Earth that the comics take place in. Yeah, Doko is all bloody here. Like, the blood just came rocketing out of his arm in the last page. Here, though, it is pouring all over the floor. Yeah, for anyone of uncertainty, this is where this comic should clearly show that it is not a story made for little babies or anything. Doko has his fun adventures, but he also has some rough points that he goes through. It's always a bit of a worry when I take a bite to eat, because it's like it's ridiculous to worry about, because this is just some stream people play while they're just doing stuff. But if I'm not providing commentary often enough, makes me think I'm probably not doing as good as I should video-wise. Which is ridiculous, but it is how the mind works when I'm doing this. Really, the important thing, though, is to just get the thing created and get the comic worked on. Dragon Ball was always one of the big things that I wasn't, purposefully, trying to make things like it, but it is something that clearly has some inspiration for this whole tournament thing. Having grown up with the 21st and 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, it kinda is something that would inevitably have some inspiration in things that I did. And really, it's just to serve as, a basis for how to do a tournament. The actual tournament itself, the characters in it are not really like much of any Dragon Ball characters, I don't think. Other than being just wacky cartoon characters. The strongest, I guess, the biggest similarity would be Doko shooting, his energy blasts and stuff. But that's just part of his character. It's who he is. I guess it could be seen as, a lot like how attacks are done in Dragon Ball. Because he does use his bioessence, which is basically his, what would be similar to Ki in Dragon Ball. But bioessence is the, I guess you'd say the element that all living things possess in the universe the comics take place in. If you, the bioessence of somebody basically is their soul. It's what makes up who a person is. There are machines that have bioessence in Doko's world. Those would be biobots. But that line of what does and doesn't have bioessence gets more blurry the further you get towards, like, the line of what is a person and what isn't, what is a pure machine that doesn't think for itself. Because if a machine is programmed well enough that it, like, has personality and has decision-making to a particular degree, then that machine will begin to show that it has bioessence readings. And so the more like an actual person a machine is, the more bioessence readings they will have. Now, whether or not they can really use that bioessence, like, in a machine to, like, well, you can use bioessence as, like, an energy source in the universe of the comics. But whether or not a machine can naturally produce it to, like, do, like, more mystical things with, I'm not quite sure yet. Not sure if that's something that will ever even come up in the story, but that is sort of how the life energy aspect of things in Doko's universe works. Ones that are trained well enough in fighting can utilize their bioessence to do more supernatural type stuff, such as this type of stuff. And since Doko has gotten training from the old sage, who is basically his caretaker, his guardian, he knows how to utilize the bioessence in that manner. The old sage, obviously, is old and has been around long enough that he would have picked up on things like that by this point in his life. I think we got the first panel there done. Now we move on to the reaction shots. You know, the biggest worry that I had going into, like, the pacing of this comic was, reaction shots from, like, the audience and stuff. Because, if you do that too much, it is just going to get really boring and dull, because it'll just be, oh, they did an attack, and now here's the audience reacting again. And you can only do that so much before it's like, okay, just show me the fight. But I think I've got it managed pretty well throughout this. I've, only really shown the audience, I think, when it's, like, really serving to impact the, show the reception of the more dramatic parts of the fights. It kinda acts as icing on the cake, sort of. Cake would be one of the favorite types of food for this character. Tesla, or Tesley for short, which is not shorter, but the running gag for her is that she has decided that is a shorter way of saying her name. Yeah, Tesley is sort of a candy addict. It runs in her family. It's actually part of her genetics, I think. Yeah, one of the more disgusting things I ever think I drew of her is at the restaurant they go to eat at before the tournament starts 2 comics ago. If you're looking, like, the characters have ordered, like, a bunch of sushi and, like, Asian food and stuff. And Tesley gets, like, this bottle of pancake syrup and starts pouring it all over her food. That is just a sickening type of taste to think about with that combination. But that is what her palate is. Yeah, just eating and working today. Then after this, I'm getting back to work on commissions again. That's all my week. That's all pretty much the past week has been for me. It's just doing commissions like non-stop. And now I'm finally sort of getting a chance to work on this stuff. Yeah, the stuff that actually gives me purpose in life. It gives me purpose to make things in general, but the comics are obviously the main priority for, like, what my life goal is and everything. Oh, and we had a bit of a skip in the music there. I'm not sure if that, was the internet breaking up or what? Or it might have just been my computer freezing up, as it is wont to do. I was surprised that Vector Man 2 ran as smoothly as it did. It seemed to be going just fine, like, video-wise, when compared to the start of the first game. Not the best gameplay-wise, because I was doing very horribly there. But video-wise, it was alright. Hopefully, if anyone saw the Vector Man 2 video, they did not suffer too much during it. Yeah, ever since that day, I have gone back and, like, beaten the game, like, 3 times, I think. It's mainly just that if you get the bonus stages, that is what will pour in, like, the lives and health for you. That, and if I knew, like, where things would be to collect on the first time I played it. But I still got to the end and beat the queen, completely legitimately. No embarrassing cheating going on. I have thought about Let's Playing the Mega Man X games before, but I would only do it up to a certain point, because I don't need to do X6. That's, no. And I really don't care to do Mega Man Mega Man X3. The X games have a lot more iffy titles in them when compared to the Zero games. The Zero games are overall a much better, like, between all games, cohesive, good experience. I know I had probably different characters drawn in the stands in front of Tesley and Mech before, but other than a few characters, I don't really keep as much track of who all is in the stands, because when you get to that point, it's just way too much micromanaging of everything in the background. All you really need is just, there's characters there. Just be able to show that, and that should be good enough, usually. Obviously, Bloodsuckle, Kala, Tesley, and Mech are in the middle row of the, like, middle stands. Like, they're the ones facing directly from the front of the arena. Other than that, though, and a few other characters in the stands, I don't really keep track of who all is in the stands in particular, like really set areas. There are characters that I, like, if I'm working on a page, I'll sometimes flip back to previous pages to see who is the latest characters I put into those parts of the stands. But otherwise, it's just kind of cartoony designs I think up on the spot. Yeah, a bit of a annoying thing yesterday was I was painting this, and I had my water, like my paint water, in a cup, and I had put my like cup with my drink down next to it. So the next time I went to take a sip, I accidentally picked up the paint water cup and started drinking the paint water, which I did not ingest any of it, but that is always a very unpleasant taste whenever that happens. With how often I've done it by this point, though, I realize what is happening in the moment, put the cup down, and then just walk over to the sink to spit it out. But it's always a very bleh kind of taste when it first hits your tongue. Yeah, there's no amount of pancake syrup that would probably help with that for Tesley. There is actually an island in Doko's world that specializes in making paint. It's like this island that basically the interior of it it's been reworked to be this facility that sort of siphons out ocean water out of the water around the island, and then it has this process that turns it into different colors of paint and stuff. And so when ships and stuff come around to collect the paint to ship out to other islands, the island itself has like this giant water faucet spout on the side of it, and the ships just go below it, and the spout is turned on and pours out whatever paint they need to pour into the canisters on their boat. Doko's world is full of all sorts of wacky ideas for islands. A lot of it is just whatever seems like a fun way to manage resources in that time period and everything. I've thought before about making videos out of stuff that I've recorded on Discord sessions. And I do intend to make a video at some point about the Gartic Phone Cards Against Humanity matches that me and a few other Discord members had. Which, if there are newcomers here, if anyone would like to sort of hang out and stuff with the other people that watch me, the Discord, the link to our Discord is in the description. It's basically just a place people hang out and share art and story ideas and stuff. There's some subjects like, there's a Resident Evil section, there's a section for robots, a section for comics, just all sorts of stuff. And of course, these comics have their own section. There's like an Edward18 section that has like the various different projects I work on. In the comics section, Dreamscape sometimes has little bits of lore and reference sheets and concept art and stuff that pertains to more behind-the-scene things of the comics, or things that have not shown up yet in the comics. Yeah, one thing I don't think has really... Well, one thing I know has not shown up yet is, for the, authorities, the police, basically, of the world, there is an island that they all go to for training, which has, like... Sorry, I am taking bites of food while I talk. It has, like, 3 leaders that oversee the, like, training of the authorities. The higher-ranking, like, troops and stuff are more of a military force, but the standard ones are just basically police that get sent to other islands to do solely that island type of policing. Oh, right, I should probably give Tesley another pair of eyelashes over here to keep it consistent. Sometimes when she's farther away, I don't give her eyelashes, but when it's this close up, you can still see them. Oh, if anyone likes Dragon Ball, I would highly recommend that you take a look at Mr. Fusion's latest Dragon Ball dissection episode, if you were ever interested in, like, the Tuffle Saiyan history. It's a video that finally collects the evolution of that more anime side of the material. Tuffles weren't really part of the, like, Toriyama manga, but the anime went with that based on notes that he gave them. And Dragon Ball Dissection is probably what I would consider the best Dragon Ball videos on YouTube. Has way more information on behind-the-scenes stuff than other Dragon Ball YouTube stuff does. I know most of what is usually talked about before it's talked about, but there's even stuff in there that even I was not familiar with at times. Yeah, these days I've been waking up a bit later. I've been working too much on things, I think. I love making things for people, but it does tire you out. But I am going to be doing that sale until October 25th. Not sure what I'm going to do on the 25th. It's my birthday, and last year I drove up to the park that Mom used to take me and my brother to all the time. It is Mount Lookout in Cincinnati. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting some treats or something, maybe eating out at a restaurant or whatnot. With my hard-earned commission money. After the sale on the commissions ends, I'm planning on calculating out a price for, like, commissions for animations, because I've never done an animation commission before, but I've always been open to it. There has been one person that's asked me to, but things haven't really happened much with that, so far, still not much in that category. I do always love making animations, though. Yeah, when things calm down again, I'm going to try to get back to work on the Party Crashers animation I was working on. Now, and this guy right here, not so much for the body, but for the head, I was kind of thinking of Sideways from Transformers. And I wasn't, like, consciously trying to make him look like that, but I kept thinking of Sideways from, like, his Armada design while making him, which obviously got worked into the, like, the shape of his visor and face and everything. Not sure if this guy is a biobot or a cyborg. It kinda feels like he'd be more of a biobot, though. Looks a bit too robotic to have organic origins to me. That or it's a very, very all-encompassing bodysuit helmet getup. And he's probably a Cyclops. Yeah, the inhabitants of this world kinda just are whatever cartoony design I think works in each scene. Yeah, it's kinda like Dragon Ball Looney Tunes that way. It's a bit more serious than some of the stuff in, like, Looney Tunes, but it does have its designs rooted in fun, I feel. Think a lot about, like, 90s video games and stuff while making this type of stuff. And now Mr. Announcer. This guy is usually yammering away on his, like, microphone, but even he has to, like, stop and gawk at the sheer horrifying injury that one of the fighters has sustained. I realize now I did not color everything on Doko. I need to get the other arm here. Yeah, this is, the tournaments, you're not allowed to kill in them, but, there is a certain amount of bodily harm that is allowed. It's just, as long as it's not, like, lethal and stuff, it is pretty much allowed. They have healing pods on hand to be able to recover people. It's not the most common thing to see such grievous injury, but it has happened at these tournaments before. The announcer's reaction, though, should be enough of an indication that it's not something that's usually as expected. That's something I never quite get when I see people that are watching the Videl-Spopovich fight in Dragon Ball. Like, you usually hear people going, like, why aren't they stopping this? Shouldn't this be against the rules? And it's, like, obvious that they have never seen a Dragon Ball tournament before if they're asking those questions. It's just kinda standard fare for those types of fights. The same thing kind of applies here. It's, as long as you're not knocked out of the ring and just decide to keep going, it's still gonna continue. Yeah, I do like the announcer character here. His design was easier to stay consistent with when compared to other characters I've done so far. Had a pretty set look for him that didn't really deviate while I was making the comics. Always gotta have the little ice cream swirl here. And now we got the Claw looking back over his shoulder after getting back to his feet. And just commenting on what he thinks of Doko's performance. It's kinda what he's been doing, like, all the matches he's been in, is giving commentary for how the fighters are messing up against him and everything. He's not one that's really in it to, like, get some advantage over the others with how skilled he is. He's just kind of there to see what they are made of. I need to write the kanji in on this. I forget what kanji it is, but I think it's like, it either says medical or staff in Japanese. I'd have to look it up again, though. Let me check something over here. I think the computer is freezing. Okay, that's working. And this? Okay, that's working. So since we're over here, I may as well switch the track. It's been going on for quite a bit. Let's see here. Okay. And now it's switching pages. Ooh, I always like this guy's music. I think this is the guy. Yeah, I think this is the guy that remixed the Vector Man music I like to listen to. This is a remix of the second level of Vector Man 2, which we played a few days ago. Now let me see about the volume here. This might be a bit loud with... Let's just tilt it down a tiny bit. 27... There we go. I think that level of volume will do. Hopefully it wasn't too loud on the other music I was playing earlier. If so, no one said anything, so I'll assume it was okay. Okay, and now we get back to work. Yeah, these streams are basically just tracing over what is already on the page and just making sure all the blacks are black. Already have all the whites white, so don't have to worry about that when I'm working on it on the streams. I take care of that process before I do the streams on my other computer. The other computer is better for, like, actually working on the digital portion of stuff, but that computer is too out of date to be able to stream on, so no doing any recordings there. I can record, it's just that would have to go through Windows Movie Maker and not be a stream. It'd just be footage that I would have to edit together for, like, a video. Which it feels like these are a bit, not really proper for. It's basically just the creator doing stuff in his free time. Not free time, but just hangout time while talking. Because all this is very, time-consuming work. Everything I do pretty much is. The guy that remixes this music always does very phenomenal work. His remix of the train level of Vector Man 1, the second level of the game, is what I plan to use at some point in an animation I would do of the final boss battle of the game. Makes it sound so epic. There was a period where epic was a word that was just getting used way too much, and it feels like it really lost its meaning during that period, but it's been used a lot less frequently since then, so I feel when you use the term epic now, it's like a lot more appropriate for when you say it. In general, in like personal usage, it has always had the impact to me. And such are the ways of the current generation's slang. Every time it always, either repurposes old words and makes them lose their meaning that they used to have, or the impact they used to have. And elsewise, it just creates new words that usually don't stick around. But if they do, it's incorporated into the next generation's slang. Humanity. Such creatures of habit and repeated history. Really, history repeats mostly due to, probably inherited, like, patterns from the previous generations through genetics and stuff, and not paying attention as much to history. And so inevitably, due to that lack of trying to keep from doing the same things again, history does inevitably repeat itself sometimes through that sort of carrying on of the previous generation's habits. A combination of a lack of knowledge and inherited patterns, I would say. It's not at all the excuse that should be used for, like, lazy movie making and video game design. Oh, you see, it's like poetry, it rhymes, it's history repeating itself. No, it's just being really fucking lazy in how you're creating a story, usually. Just for sheer fan service shock, pretty much. Which which pretty much usually just destroys stories and everything in the process. That is how a lot of series continue on. Eventually, a lot of them devolve into just referencing past things to make a new remixed version of previous story beats. Which I guess on some level, that is how everything is, but usually there's more thought put into it rather than, oh, well, Snake is doing this because Big Boss did this, and no, that's just kinda dumb. There's times where it can be cute, but otherwise, no, it's lazy, and it's very noticeably bleh. Hello, Daniel, how are you doing today? We are working on page 81 of the comic. Oh, and, I think you saw this, but, here... Oh, that's not it. I just blacked out the screen. Let's go... Here. There it is. There is the, page of the commission sales. Now we head back to work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've seen that, but I figured I'd take the opportunity to pop it up on screen for anyone else that hasn't seen the sales going on right now for my commissions. Only available until October 25th, which is my birthday. Just thought it'd be a nice little, building up to the birthday sale that's going on. Oh, I'm sorry, I hope the heating and water comes back for, well, the heating and electricity comes back for the caravan, Daniel. Every time you say caravan, I always sort of picture you and the family being part of the caravan of vehicles at the start of Mega Man 04. And this is, I guess since you just got here, here's what's going on the page. Here is Doko, rather very visibly in pain after the previous page, and everyone looking on in shock. And then here's the Claw, just talking about how Doko is getting sloppy in his tactics and stuff. And sort of the usual commentary that the Claw gives an opponent as he analyzes and critiques their methods. Yeah, the Claw has been around the block quite a bit by this point in his life. There's probably very few opponents that can really surprise him in what they are capable of and what they look like or anything like that. He might not be able to beat every one of them, but in terms of, like, what will shock him, that is a hard bar to pass. let me see here. I'm going to switch to music. Okay. No, not that one. Here we go. I'll just put some of this on. And let's raise the volume a little bit. Hopefully this is able to be heard. Seems like it may be a bit low. Let's raise it a tiny bit more. Oh, whoa. That was a bit of a spike in the, Yeah, no, let's simmer it back down a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, there we go. That should do. Oh wait, I forgot. Gotta switch back over to a window that is not the YouTube window. Otherwise, it is going to lag up the comic making process with the video playing on screen beside it. Yeah, Metroid music is usually good music to make stuff to. I used to just go to certain areas in Metroid Prime and let the music play while I worked. I would still do that if I had things hooked up to play Metroid Prime. I always find more ambient music to be appropriate music for working to. If it's more energetic and fast-paced, my mind is working too much to pay attention. Like, it focuses on the music more than what I am, like, drawing. It's great, though, for when I'm wanting to imagine out scenes and, like, have the exciting music playing in the background to come up with ideas with. This all goes so much quicker now that the fill-in bucket works properly for this. And here we have a close-up on the claw. He still has his red and bruised cheek from when Doko was battering him around a few pages ago. It's so nice to be working on the comic again. I took way too much time off, but that's what happens when you have other things you're doing in life. If I just had this as my only, like, if this were a job that I made money with, then this is what I would be doing, but without that, I have other things I focus on sometimes. You gotta make the money to maintain your sustenance intake and livelihood. I've been wanting to... I was thinking about doing some Let's Plays of Resident Evil game for, like, October, since it is Halloween. It feels a bit odd, though, because the whole Raccoon City stuff happens, like, at the end of September and October 1st on, like, the timeline that stuff happens in. So it's like you're always a month off if you're doing the Raccoon City type of stuff, if you're doing it for the month of October for Halloween. That's how they design the games, so not much that can be helped there. Not like they really thought out, oh, there's gonna be people doing this stuff called Let's Plays decades from now that may want to do this for the Halloween month. Also, it's a bit unrealistic to have all that stuff happen during the month of Halloween. Like, oh, you just happen to have all these zombies and monsters happen in October. That's a bit too on the nose, probably. Yeah, in Doko's, in the timeline of the world that Doko lives in, I always, during high school, the stuff I always viewed as the more horror material of my, of this world would always have to do with the mutagenic substance known as Fendrite, which still exists in the time period that Doko lives in. But by this point in the timeline, the people of Earth have more both evolved and had genetic modifications in their ancestry that has sort of mitigated the horrific effects that Fendrite can have. Still a very dangerous substance, especially in, like, high doses, but it's not as much of a problem as it was during the early 2000s in the timeline. There was a lot of monster stuff going on with that substance. Yeah, Fendrite and the Shadow Virus were the main big elements that led to more horror-type stuff in the universe that the comics take place in. But, both of them... Well, the Shadow Virus has been touched on in one of the earlier comics, but neither of them have really had much of a main presence in the comics. At least not so far. Feel a smidge tired right now. Oh, thankfully, this comic page is going quite steadily. Nah, not too much in the way of slowing down, just sort of plowing through it. Having a fill-in bucket that actually works does wonders for the production speed of the project. And Doko. The goggle boy. The blue moron. Doko is not the smartest character ever, but he always feels like he needs to help others. Help those who cannot help themselves. Doko is easily the most pure-hearted character of the main characters. He just does things because it is the right thing to do. Except for, well, this tournament is, this is just him having fun. Just him and Stacy had wanted to enter the tournament all throughout their childhoods when they were watching it on TV, and now he is here. I am just about out of snacks. Hopefully the commentary is alright today. Never know what the quality is. Just sort of stuff that whatever comes to my head as I work. One thing that is coming to my head right now is, the original Star Wars Clone Wars series. An amazing cartoon. What I would argue to be probably the greatest thing ever created of Star Wars. I'm talking about the Genndy Tartakovsky show, not the 3D Clone Wars. No, the Genndy show is such high-class Star Wars-ness. Such a letdown for Grievous once Revenge of the Sith came out and you saw what he was like in live action compared to everything he did in the series building up to it. Also kinda sad to see, like, Kyudo and the blue Jedi girl that survived Grievous' attack in that show just meet their end by the backstabbing in Order 66. Which has always been a stupid sounding order to me, like, really? The 666 thing, but you chop 1 6 off? That is just... that's almost cringeworthy. But it is George Lucas, so I don't really expect the highest level of amazing storytelling from him. Yeah, the prequels are not movies that I ever care for, exactly. Revenge of the Sith is watchable. It's fine. That's not really saying much compared to what you're comparing it to. Yeah, when you go for prequel stuff, the main movies are, like, the worst stuff of the prequel stuff. Which is always really odd to me. It's Star Wars. It's just something people watch for, like, a popcorn adventure. It pretty much was just doing serials that were shown before movies. Like, back in the 40s and 50s, but with bigger budget and more of a story and stuff. One thing I've been having to keep in mind with these pages is to try to remember to keep Doko's shirt all ripped up now that he has been battered in that smoke screen that he kicked up that he was trying to attack the claw within. There have been a couple of instances where I've gone and drawn him with, like, his clothing still fully intact. Always have to go back and re-edit it before I put, like, the actual finalizing process down on the page. The watercolor and ink. Which, again, if you ever drink your paint water, just do not swallow it, walk over to the sink and spit it out. That's never a good taste to have. But it's not usually that big of a deal as long as it's like non-toxic watercolors. Oh yeah, Disney films of Star Wars are not at all good, Daniel. But the prequels are also not good to me. They might be better at times, but again, not saying much. Really, the only amazing Star Wars movie, I would say, is Empire Strikes Back. That is pretty much the only one that is, like, god-tier movie. The Return of the Jedi is alright. It's like, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's fun. It's the weakest of the originals. And then the original Star Wars, which they later renamed A New Hope, Episode 4, is, that one is... It's clearly the one where they're starting out, the budget isn't good, the makeup effects aren't that good at all. But it's fun, and it's like what I would say is probably the second best movie. Then after the originals, Revenge of the Sith. Then, I don't know, between Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones is pretty boring to me. And then Phantom Menace is just really not good at parts. I guess I'll say Phantom Menace, though, because it has the lightsaber duel with Darth Maul with his Donatello lightsaber, and that is just a cool weapon, so I'll say Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones. Yeah, but, if I'm watching things in order, which I never do, because there's a lot of stuff I do not care to see. I'd go Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars original cartoon, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And, that is, like, the way to perfectly watch through the story. You can add in the 3D Clone Wars if you want. It's like, you can't... It doesn't, like, interfere too much with the 2D original Clone Wars cartoon. But if I have to choose, it's always gonna be the Genndy Clone Wars show, because that perfectly connects episode 2 and 3 together. Like, without missing a beat at all. And it's just sad, because after I see that, I have to remember, oh, now I'm going into Revenge of the Sith. All of this awesomeness is going to just drip out of it. I love some good Metroid music. Yeah. I've never seen the Star Wars Christmas special. I have no intention of ever seeing that. Do you have anything planned for Halloween, Daniel? You may have said in the Discord, but I cannot remember if you did. Sometimes, some years I think about doing my final evolution, making a picture of that for Halloween. Not sure if I will this year, though. With all the commissions that have been going on and stuff, it's been a bit hard to, like, work on the non-paid work stuff lately. Oh, right. I'm out of snacks here. I was reaching over to get something to take a bite of, and then I realized all I have left is this sort of rim of a Pop-Tart. Yeah, when I was younger, they had a book series on Star Wars called Galaxy of Fear, which starred two humanoid characters and their uncle, which was this shapeshifter. I think the girl was Tash, and I think it was Uncle Hool was the uncle. Then I forget the younger brother's name. And then, like, the bad Empire guy, they'd run into the Empire mad scientist, like, every book. And I remember his name, because it was this really ridiculous name I memorized called Boriboregamus Bog. And he was a shapeshifter like their uncle, and they had worked together before he had run off. Alright, your family was wanting to, like, decorate for Halloween or go to a haunted house thing, I forgot. Oh, well, happy early birthday to your sister, Daniel. Let her know that the Edwardian army wishes her well. Later on in the year, it always gets to be a bit confusing for me, because I'm, like, going back and forth between making different cards for family members for the holidays, and then, like, birthday stuff for me, and then holiday pictures for, like, Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas. It's a great time for making stuff, but it's like everything together gets to be a bit of a flood of workflow. Oh, right, and I have to... There's another, I guess, semi-commission. There's one of the people in the building that was seeing if I could make something for their kid. And here we got Doko all bloodied and sort of semi-defeated looking. Oh yeah, that is absolutely the reason that the original Star Wars movies were good, Daniel. If it was just Lucas on his own in those movies would have been a disaster. Now, people talk about how Lucas, quote-unquote, had everything planned out, but that is just wrong. If he had it the way that he had it planned out, like, Luke would have been an old army veteran, and C-3PO would have been like a used car salesman type guy, and it would not have gotten more than one movie, I am sure of that. Now, I'm pretty sure that Empire Strikes Back is as beloved as it is because it was made with his involvement being the least present on that compared to the other two movies in the original trilogy. Yeah, George Lucas, his best talent, I think, is getting a team together. Like, he knows people, he recognizes what talent is, and he is good at getting the people together that need to be together to make something good. That's what I think his biggest contribution to the movies are. Now, he has made things like, there was a movie before he made Star Wars that's... what was it called? I can't remember it right now, but I think it was like a movie about greasers and stuff, and apparently that is supposed to be extremely good. Like, it's just that getting sucked into the whole Star Wars thing, I think, dampened him down to just doing Star Wars stuff, and I don't think he was ever the best suited for that material. He's good at paying tribute to, like, the serials that they based Star Wars on. But in terms of an ongoing multi-generational story, he does not shine in that department, I don't think. It's kinda like when people equate, like, Marvel Comics to being, like, Stan Lee, and, like, not knowing anything else about it. Because it's like, if Stan Lee were the only person, was like the main person that Marvel was, I'm pretty sure it would not have, like, probably would not have really even taken off, I don't think. Like, that's more owed to Jack Kirby and stuff like that. The biggest thing with Stan Lee is, he's the guy that really helped to keep the continuity together. He, like, kept track of what issues took place when between the different series and stuff that were going on. And then, obviously, he was the guy writing the, word balloons, the speech bubbles that the characters said. He's the one that gave them their personalities. But in terms of actual story, that's more owed to people like Jack Kirby and John Romita and Steve Ditko, I'd say. And here we are working on our own comics, all of which are handled entirely by Edward. in which he has had planned out story-wise for quite a number of years now. I'm always kind of amused when people that are new to Dragon Ball, like, start questioning, like, was everything thought out like this? How long did he plan all this? And how it's just a series that has no planning whatsoever. It's just stuff that was usually made up every single week. Oh, this seems cool, I'll do this time. Then it all just happened to fall into place kind of more seamlessly than it would, the narrative would lead you to believe if you were to know that it was, like, just stuff that was randomly being slapped together, usually. Some creators have things planned out quite a bit. Others, though, a lot of them just work by the seat of their pants. I'm pretty sure I remember that Star vs. the Forces of Evil was created just like stuff was being done constantly, that it wasn't really planned out, they just kept making stuff was all. That worked perfectly fine for like the first 2 seasons. It's just when you get to the final season, it's like, this is not as good. I wouldn't ever say that Star vs. the Forces of Evil is horrible. It's just, the final season is like, okay, I kind of expected this ending, so whatever. It's not something I find as hugely offensive, but at the same time, it's not something I can really get invested in as much as I can with, like, the amazingness that they did with Toffee. That the biggest downside to Star is it's just sad that they never reached that level of greatness again after the end of Season 2. Well, I guess the beginning of Season 3, because that is the sort of premiere of Season 3 is Battle on Muni. But then, like, Gravity Falls had things, like, planned out for 3 seasons, and then they chopped it down to 2. Which I know that, like, it's the creator's decision, but goddamn, I wanted to see another season of Gravity Falls. Okay, let's create a separating line there. Don't want it wholly connected to the other arm, otherwise it looks like the 2 arms are kinda conjoined there. All that being said, I would love another season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. The people on that show obviously had fun doing it. Preferably, any show that I enjoy would just not end and would just keep going forever. Or until it gets, like, a satisfactory ending. Yeah, the whole Toffee thing was just kind of the biggest plus for the show and the biggest disappointment with the lack of payoff for him in the end. toffee... now I lost what I was saying. I was just admiring the toffee too much. Oh, I remember. The weirdest thing, the thing that made it seem like Toffee was gonna come back, really was, when they kill him originally. He is, like, saying, "Only I know how this all turns out." And with a character like him, that is, like... he is not one to give an empty threat. So, like, I was thinking... oh, so has he, like, time-traveled or something? Does he know? How does he know what's going to happen in the future? I can't wait to see how they reveal how he knows what's going to happen, but that ended up not being anything. That was my biggest issue with Toffee. Was like, that is a perfect lead-in for something to show later, but that they never did anything with. While the show was being made, I figured they must have had something planned out for it, but apparently, from what I've heard, that was just supposed to be him making some kind of threat was all, according to the show creators. It wasn't meant to really lead into anything, which is just not great storytelling to me. That's the kind of thing I have issue with that show. But it is still a wonderful show to me. Yeah, there are people that, like, I know people will write off a show for, like, one or two big mistakes or whatever, what they perceive as mistakes. Because as long as the show is going how the creator intends it to, technically there is not a quote-unquote mistake. But it still can be a letdown for people that think it should have gone a certain way. But I'm the type of person that, if a show is like that, I'll still probably consider it a good show if the rest of the show is good. Like, the ending of Lost is not good to me. I do not like that ending. The show itself, though, is one of the best shows of all time, probably. Just in everything that happens in it, and the character stories, and the backstory and everything. But that final season is just like... it's a waste of a season half the time to me with that Flash Sideways stuff. And then the ending in general, other than the stuff on the island is pretty good. The other stuff is, no, I don't like it. But the show is still good, so I'll still watch the show. The philosophies of Edward. The analyzation of shows that people have probably completely moved on from by this point and will never talk about again. Other than, like, at conventions and anniversary reunion, like, videos and stuff. For me, shows don't really end ever. It's just, well, that one got its ending, but it's still something I will see. Just gotta give it a bit of time to sit, and then I'll be ready to see it again. I do need to get caught back up on Hell of a Boss. I haven't seen that, like, most of the year, I don't think. Alright. I think that's big enough hair. I had made Doko's hair a bit too small here, so I was trying to make it bigger, and then I'll clone stamp out all the hair that is, like, not supposed to be seen. Okay. Now let me see here. Should I... do it like this. Do it like that. And then shave it off a bit. And then make the hair strand a bit like this. And then I think, actually, questioning the hair now. Like this, maybe like this. Oh no, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Let's just get it like this. Then, no, that, okay. We'll just fill it in manually then. Well, that looks better if we can get it a bit like that. Don't worry, Doko, we're just giving you a tiny bit of a haircut. Scruffy little guy needs it sometimes. Oh, we messed up the eye a tiny bit there. There? I think that'll do. I think that'll do. Oh, well. That sounds a bit Kingdom Hearts-ish, Daniel. They always had, versions of the Disney characters, but obviously stories that are similar but clearly cannot line up with how it is in the actual material completely. Oh right, we still gotta get Doko's boot down here. Alright, and then I think this will be basically complete. Let me just zoom in to make sure we got everything. Alright, that's all filled in. Actually, yeah, everything looks filled in. Okay, and let's see here. Yeah, here's all the blacks. It's all blackened up. Let me... hold on. Oh, I know what that is. Let me save. Please don't freeze and crash. That is all I ask. Oh, it's freezing. Oh, good, it's saved. Okay, good. Let me see over here. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's the speed lines on that. So, I think we got all the blacks here. We still need to put in the kanji on that, but I'll do that off screen. Actually, let me see here. Now that looks okay. Oh yeah, it sounds like a fun time, Daniel. But here we have basically the latest comic page, just without the kanji symbols that are going on the door, well, the cloth curtain there. So here we've got Doko crumpling to the ground in agony from the horrific injury he sustained. All the characters just looking in awe at the scene, and then the Claw here commentating about how Doko is getting sloppy. As the fight has drawn on, your tactics have become overwhelmed by impatience and desperation. Even without that, though, those energy attacks you've been doing have been wearing you down. You are not going to defeat me. Give up. That's where the Claw stands on the whole situation. He's very direct in what he has to say. And Doko is certainly not looking to be in the best of shape to continue, but he is Doko, so whether or not he does continue is still up for debate. Yeah, this is the latest page of the comic. That went quicker than I thought it would. I guess, how long have I been here? Oh yeah, this has gone a lot quicker than I thought it would. Not even 2 hours of work today on this. Just fine by me. But I guess since I'm not really tired out yet, I should probably get off, but I'm not always the one for making the best decisions, so I'll just boot up a little game to play in the meantime. To spend a little more time on here. Or wait. Hold on. Actually, while I'm here, since it is the month of the spooky, I will instead doodle a little monster thing before I do that. Alright, what am I going to doodle? I'm thinking something from the final evolution ideas I have. So, that has a lot of mutagenic stuff in it. Let's get a... What I used to do during high school was I would sort of make random shapes and then make a creature out of it for, like, final evolution ideas. And for final evolution, what it is a very mutagenic type of monster type stuff. It was a series that I came up with back during high school that would have started out in the St. Elias Mountains of Canada, or Alaska. It's like, I think, on the border of Alaska and Canada. And the first game would start out in, like, a oil refinery that's, like, abandoned, and you wake up there with no memory and have to, like, get out of the facility that's, like, filled with monster-type stuff. It'd have multiple endings. Yeah, there was, I had, for like my creative writing class, I did end up, writing a bit of like the story of the prequel story for it, which would have been set in the, this abandoned town that you can see from like a telescope in the first game. Oh yeah, Chernabog is basically a devil-type character, so that would make sense that he is as high as he is, Daniel. Yeah, for Final Evolution, the people in it, there's all sorts of monsters and stuff, and in the original game, every single monster in the game is supposed to look different and have a different set of mutations from the others that they can go through throughout the game. Basically, you aren't supposed to be able to really kill monsters normally. Like, you can get enough firepower to finally destroy them, but unless you destroy their entire body, they are not going to die. They will just go into, like, sort of an unconscious state after you deal enough damage to them. And then when you come back to the room later, if you go back, you will see the thing has mutated into a more dangerous form if you were able to incapacitate it earlier. And each creature was meant to have a different, like, evolutionary line they could go on and stuff. It'd be a game that would probably take a lot of work, but it'd be in 2D, it'd be a side-scroller. And I'm just kinda making up a design as I go here, since we are in the spooky month of the year. Seems a bit fitting to make something of that series. It was my primary horror series that I had planned to make. Yeah, the people, there's very few actual humans that you come across in the games, but they're, it's always incidents that are very... got people trying to survive if you come across them. Some of them are out for themselves, others are trying to work together, but usually it's a more isolated type of series. Just sort of putting together what happened at the locations through, like, the notes that have been left behind there and stuff. Yeah, old point-and-click games were pretty good in that regard. Actually, why don't we switch the music to something more appropriate for the material? Let's go and get the most scary music to me from the original Resident Evil. Here we go. The good old Neptune tank. This was always one of the creepiest tracks in a video game to me. Now we can properly draw a monster. And I just figured I'd give it 2 eyes to add to the creepiness factor. Yeah, the stuff in Final Evolution is sort of dealing, like, it's called Final Evolution for a reason, like, story-wise. Because, when you get into the genetics of stuff, there are things that it's like, sometimes you will start to wonder if you, like, think too much about if there is, like, a final form of life that can be achieved. Like, one that is sort of a perfected life form that does not have the detriments that other creatures do when it comes to genetics and stuff. Sometimes it feels like that should be something that can be actually able to be eventually evolved to or achieved through, like, genetic manipulation. It's stuff that we're probably far off from at this point, but it provides good material when it comes to the sci-fi storytelling side of things. Not sure what this creature is, but it's a creature. It's a monster. Got sort of a shelled crustacean type of head going on here. I knew that would happen. Okay, so where is the gap I need to fill? Is it there? I'll fill in that again. There we go. That gets the mouth all black. Then the strands coming down will lock around the lower jaw. Or become part of it. The jaw, that'll go all the way back there. You are now watching the creation of a wholly new entity that Edward has never drawn before. Just his mind working and creating. Watch the visceral gloriness of it. Yeah, I always like making art. Just drawing stuff. That is what I live for. Okay, and then we had the body back here. Maybe a spinal cord that blends into being... Yeah, the spine is raised into fins. Okay, erase some of that. Then this'll be some appendage. Which we can... Let's give it some claws. Will be good hooks. Now with Final Evolution, the things mutate in it sort of, they're not like preset in how they are going to mutate. It just sort of, whatever damage is inflicted on them is what causes them to mutate to counteract the damage they've taken. So, the monsters, technically, as long as their bodies are intact, are not killable. They are technically immortal in that way. If their bodies are entirely destroyed, that is what will kill them. But even then, it bleeds into a bit of questioning what is and isn't life on some level. Because their remains could be considered alive still, since they are still, like, functioning. It's just, unless they've been, like, completely disintegrated, they are still, like, functioning body parts, just without a mind to control them, pretty much. It's very dangerous stuff that is being messed around with in that series. Let's move this over a bit so I have more space to work with. This is taking too long. Just drag it. Oh, now it's... Okay, well, what we need to do is shrink this guy. There we go, that gives us more room to work with. Again, no idea what this is. Just an Edward being. Oh. Okay. Just saving this. And actually, I'm going to get up for a second to get something. I will be right back. Enjoy your thinkings about your Disney project, Daniel. And I am right back. I was just getting some more stuff to maybe have to eat while I'm here. And that is a bunch of Cheerios right now. Yodel. Okay. Monster guy. For anyone tuning into the stream right now, I hope you have not been too frightened by what you are seeing and hearing with this haunting music along with this wonderful, cute imagery that is being drawn up. We're just making some sort of monster guy while I'm here, since I finished up working on the comic page faster than I thought. Which, for those that weren't here, this is how that turned out. And now we are back to this. Just a bunch of muscly, torn tissue. And a guy with his mouth open. Yeah, when it comes to mutation type stuff, the thing that usually sticks out in my head the most is the 80s movie of The Thing. People say The Thing is like a remake of The Thing from Another World, but really they're just two movies that are based on the same story. It's just that The Thing is a more faithful adaptation of who goes there than The Thing from Another World is. Okay, then this'll be the sort of shoulder. When you get into, like, monster stuff, it becomes a bit hard to... As you're creating some designs, it's a bit hard to tell what body parts will be what if you're just slapping down all sorts of lines. But then there's also the issue of, well, would this even be a human body part that you would know about? Then it just bleeds off into sort of a more creative way of looking at things and forming ligaments and sinew and stuff out of what you have put down already. This is a muscle here. I actually read The Thing from Who Goes There, the story that The Thing is based on, in a car ride when we were driving to Dad's mom to visit her once. Not all that long of a story at all. From what I remember, characters in the movie of The Thing that weren't infected turned out to be ones that were a lot more often than I thought they would. Let's see. This is the throat thing. So then this would be the shoulder blade area. The thing with monsters is a lot of the biology for, like, what humans know is just based on what we see in our world. It's not necessarily what all life in the universe would necessarily be built like. Even the most alien stuff in our world still has all a basis that relates to everything else on the planet in some way. When you get into more extraterrestrial or more mutated type stuff, it can get further away from that. There's a lot more creative liberties that can be taken when it comes to the design of the biology of things. And I think I read recently that there is a type of jellyfish that they found that they will break themselves down to, like, a more microscopic level in some, I think if they get too injured or something, and from there they can actually sort of, they don't have a mind really, but they can, like, be ingested by other creatures and sort of are parasites kind of in that form. ocean life in general is a lot more alien to above ground stuff than well, above water land based things than what is in the ocean. I don't know why, but I really want to give it the smokestack thing. Then I guess over here we give it one also. Oh wait, no. Because this is the spine. And that's going into a fin here. Actually, let's just redo all that. Because now we have a better look at the spine. And so we can make the spinal cord come out of that. There we go. Yeah, having this type of ambient music is the type of stuff to allow me to focus better on drawing when compared to the rock and roll side of things. Okay, so we got that, and maybe have some fumes coming out. Yeah, that'll just get in the way of me trying to create. Then let's get rid of this. Yeah, mythology has quite a bit of interesting stuff in it, Daniel. It's not necessarily aliens as the explanation, but it has a lot of creative stuff. There's actually, I was researching stuff last year, I think? It was when I was trying to get more of an idea for, like, entities for, in the universe of Doko's, well, universe. And I came across, it was like, they were really, really ancient versions of the Bible that had been found in the last decade or so. And from what it has been like, presumed through like the rewrites of the Bible, is it seems like there's like a class of higher beings called Elohims in it, and that was always used as sort of a name for like God, is like Elohim and El and El Elyon. And El Elyon and El, back in the normal modern versions of the Bible, they like use El Elyon and El as like the same character, which is God, but in those earlier versions of the Bible, it looks like there's more of a differentiation between El and El Elyon, like as separate entities at times. Because, like, I think it's El Elyon. El is the Elohim above all Elohim, and El Elyon is the Elohim, I think, of the Hebrews, which is Yahweh. And then there are points where in the Bible it says you're not allowed to worship other Elohim, and they talk about the Elohim of Egypt at one point, and it seems like it's like the Elohim are like a race of like what are basically God status. So it seems like there's been things lost in translation over the years for things like that, which makes sense. It's a bit of a long period of time and telephone game with translations of mythologies and everything. But the Egyptians were always always had very interesting stuff when it came to their mythology, Daniel. It's, I did have another horror series planned out that was like, it wasn't a horror series, it was a more cartoony one, but still it would have been like a survival horror game. But it would have had its, like, the things that were causing the initial problems in research and stuff would have linked back to Egypt, like research in Egyptian stuff. And in the final game, it would have dealt with, like, you would be in Egypt finally, and it would deal with, like, Nut and Ra and stuff as, like, part of the backstory and all that. I had a bit thought out for that. Not as much as, like, Final Evolution, but it was a bit of stuff. I put a lot more thought into pretty much everything I do than I probably should waste time doing. Yeah, I guess let's give him some back legs. And then, maybe make them a bit, bit like... the shoulder is like blank. So we want some texture coming off of the legs to like show its differentiation from the thing in front of it. Yeah, I think this'll do. Let's give it some toes. Yeah, this thing will just have a very, very back legs in the air type of way that it walks towards things. I know people like to equate the Egyptian stuff to, like, aliens and things when it comes to the flying aspect of some of the imagery, but I've never really been one that's immediately equated that to, like, alien-type stuff. There's no doubt in my mind aliens have been on Earth. That feels like it's almost guaranteed at this point, but I don't know if they would be the ones that were, like, in ancient times orchestrating everything. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't personally see things. Jesus invited me to hang out with him at a little fish gathering he had, but other than that, I'm rather unacquainted, unknowing of what happened in that time, like physically. Obviously, I know all the stories. That's just been passed around throughout the eons by this point. I know Miyazaki has said, in his... I have his well, I have both of his autobiographies, and there's one point in Miyazaki where Miyazaki talks about how he would probably like to hang out with guys like Jesus and Gandhi, just to sort of see what they're like and stuff. How should we put the other leg? That one goes there. This would be the pelvis, so this would be the leg. However, is it getting too busy to really tell what's going on? I don't think it is. I'll just put this toe here. Yeah, I think that'll do. Then there's the kneecap. Put in some texture. Just a tiny bit of texture to make it look decent. And some of the webbing here between the toes. And there we have it. That is a, I guess, a little Edward monster guy. Let's save that. And now I will turn on some video game to play, cause let's see, how much time have I been on here? Oh, that didn't even take like half an hour to doodle. Well, there is our fine specimen for the session. But now we turn our attention to more entertaining, interactive endeavors. Let's turn off Neptune's theme there. Hopefully that wasn't too droning for the audience. If anyone even bothers to stick around for all this. Let's see here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Open this. Okay. Let's boot up a little game to have fun with for a tiny bit. The stream that never ends, the session that never dies. Just continuing on with whatever comes to mind. No, not that. Let's go with this. Now, I have played this on a previous stream after I finished another comic page, but Yeah, it's always a nice one to fall back on, just relax and enjoy your time. The old Puyo reskin. That's a bit noisy. Let's lower it a bit. Let's go. I'm just trying to adjust the sound so it doesn't blast people's ears out. Not even sure who's gonna stick around for all this. Oh, I forgot they actually have an intro to this. My latest invention. This text is scrolling far too fast for me to keep up. I do love how they you actually get animated versions of the adventures of characters on the Sega Genesis in this. Yeah, I know how to play Puyo. Come on. Can never get far in this game, but it is always fun to mess around with. Not like anyone plays this for, like, any concrete adventure or whatnot. It's always kind of weird to me how, like, this game has the pilot episode robots of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This guy's always simple. Yeah, just build up the, oh, well. Whoa. Ding 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 ding, bada 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 boom. Yeah, you always wanna get things in a good, good way to get combos that'll, like, you'd break down one and have things set up for more to fall onto another set that is ready to disappear. Now they kinda mess that up for me, but not really, because I'll have the purples disappear here, and then the blues will drop on each other, and there's a combo. That's what drops a ton of rocks on the other guy. That is not what I wanted to do. Oh, okay. Here we go. More oh. I always forget this first guy kinda just suicides himself. You don't even really need to do anything to beat him. Oh well. Forget what this guy is. I think he's Arms is what his name is, and then the guy after him is Sheldon. Yeah, that's Arms. Ding ding ding. And my dad used to call this game the Yup Top game because of the sound that the beans make sometimes. Oh, this is simple. Uh-oh. And there we go. Yeah, he's hurting now. Let's get this broken. No, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. Oh well. Okay, we'll do a combo here. There you go. Just get him back a tiny bit. Yeah, he's already panicking. Such a catchy game. Not my favorite, but it is addictive. And you're really... Here we go! Combo time! Yeehaw, yippee! Oh no, that's not good. Oh well. It's not too bad. He's getting all happy looking, but we got this. It's just a constant back and forth between fright and happiness for him. There we go. Whew. Yeah, it's just a constant game of what combos can you predetermine yourself to get. Not there, not there. Okay, that'll do. Then, oh, I shoulda... Oh, okay, that works. Not what I was planning, but I'll go with it. Alright. Dear God. And we're dead. Yeah, once it gets into like the 4th or 5th round, it starts to get rather cumbersome in like calculating out while you're dropping things. And then they start getting faster after coconuts. Alright, Arms, come on. No intro, just get on with it. And then we drop it down. Yeah, if you pile them up, like, just keep matching the colors. Like, there's a blue. Here's some greens. Eventually, once you start breaking them down, there will be ones that land on each other and provide combos a bit naturally. Yeah, this'll do. Okay. No, that's not what I was trying to do, but whatever. This'll work just as well. Oh, that gets rid of a lot of the stones he just dropped. There is a lot of thinking that goes into this game. Don't want to break down the purples there just yet. Although now it's getting a bit more cumbersome. We want to get another Okay, well that presents a bit of a problem. Now I have to break those out. No, whoa, whoa. There. We need some reds. Purple, red. There we go, that breaks that out. So now we need, like, a purple. And here is our purple. That gives us a ton of greens to take out. And more reds. The combos just pile up there. Yeah, he dropped some on us, but it wasn't too bad compared to what we did to him. This is really catchy. I love this music. It is always fun. And of course you drop it right where I was gonna do purple. Oh well. We live, we survive, we persevere and deal with what's been dealt to us. Oh, let's just do this here, buddy. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Okay, we'll put that there. I shouldn't have done that, but whatever. We'll get it like this. And then this. Then we just need to put a green in there. There we go. Usually doesn't give me this much trouble. Nah, we'll take this out. Now, this is a game where it's very easy to, like, do something and then have just a chain reaction if you've built up enough stuff in passing. Oh, now they're coming down faster. But it's not too fast compared to how it gets later. This is also an easy game to go, oh, I meant to do that when combos happen that you don't intend to have happen. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Oh dear. Oh no. He is going to kill me. Okay. This is where it gets tense, and we're dead. Why is he giving me so much trouble? He's like an easy one. And sometimes you just get stuck on one forever. Oh. Just a sec. I have a phone call here. Let me see. Well, apparently the phone is not picking up. Oh, never mind. Hello? Hi. Yep, I'm here. And I am. Well, I'm alright. I'm making a video right now, so you are potentially on the air. I don't think they can hear you, but they can hear me talking. Oh, okay. Well, I will call you back after. Still nothing, but still looking, so. Yes, it is. And I am getting more commissions and stuff right now, so that is providing some money. Oh, oh well. Yep. Yep. Oh, that would be a good idea. I know. No, I'm sure there'll be something. No, that would be, I think, 2 weeks from now. I think it's the 16th. Yep. Now I have 2 more days left. Up and down. It's better usually. But, yeah. Bye. Well, I apologize if that was a bit of an interruption. That was, obviously Mama Edward calling. Yep. Now we, I think, have lost once during that. So let us work on reclaiming our ground on this guy here. Well, that is, not every day you get a phone call interruption during these, but it does happen. I was going to put some beans right there. They always have a habit of dropping these, like, exactly where you do not want them to be. And of course you drop it there. Again. And I'm dead. I am so dead. Oh, wow. Yep, we're done there. Okay, I should probably not spend all day on this guy. Let's try to seriously knock him down. Yeah, Mom was just asking about how things are going and how the money making and all that's going. I see what I need to do. Alright, you're building me up. And then here. Then bam. And then bam. Yeah, he's sweating. We drop this here, that there, and it's giving me problems. It's the one after you that is always the troublemaker. I never get stuck on this guy. Let's just do some easy ones. No fancy combos sometimes. Just doing things that'll get things broken down. Come on. Oh. Well, that got some. Then this! Combo time! Yippee! Thankfully, there's not too much commentary to interrupt with this type of a game. Well, I got 2 on you, you only got 1 on me. I think we might actually beat him this time. Oh yeah, he is especially done. There we go! Finally got him out of the way. And now for Sheldon. Yeah, this guy. He is the one that was, like, the one I would always get stuck on. Because he, like, puts a lot of thought into his moves compared to the others. Okay, here we go. Oh, I messed that up. Never mind. I'll just think of it as, it's going to be glorious once we do get that combo there. Alright, and then take this out, that breaks that down, that gets that. Alright, that's nice, that is good. Ugh. That kind of screws up whatever plans he had going on. For the time being, he can recover, and he will recover. He is not one that, goes without, an effort to take him down. Oh, here we go. Let's just get this while we can. Dear God. I hate this guy. Yeah, with him, once he starts getting you, it is pretty much done. He's only the 3rd guy. I think I've made it up to Scratch and Grounder like 1 time. Isn't this so exciting, just watching this same repeated gameplay over and over? As Edward just moseys about in the after hours of work. Down, bottom, 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 bottom. Yeah, we got one on you too. Don't get too excited there. Ah, there's some greens. Take this down here. Oh god, that is a ton of ones piling up there. Okay, why'd I do that? Seems like a very illogical move that I made there. Well, we'll take this down, and then that'll work out a bit. Until he decides to do something to screw all that up. Okay. And here we go. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to get the yellows to land, but... Okay, need to plan things out better sometimes. There we go. And that's more of what I was trying to do. Okay, there we go. Alright, alright. That's good, that's good. Was so expecting him to mess things up for me there. Pretty much mess things up for me. Why do you have to put them where I'm planning to put them? Oh, now they're falling fast. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, thank you. Not that that does me much good, but I'll take it. Oh, here we go. Good. Here's something. Okay. Breaking things down a bit. Bit by bit. Talk by tick. Okay, there we go. Things are getting a bit crazy here with the speed at which they're falling. Oh god. Okay, not that bad. Not as bad as I thought it'd be. Really? You had to do it then. Okay, I'm dead. Well, that's going to be it, I think. We can end on the guy that usually gives me problems. So, for anyone that has stuck around for all this, I hope it hasn't been too bad. I hope you've enjoyed whatever you have watched. And I guess I will be seeing you all later. Farewell for now. I'll get the comic page finished up, then put that up in a bit. I'll see you all later.